What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Got some big news. An IRS whistleblower has some big news about President Biden that I'll give you the details here on. Also, tensions are boiling over as President Biden calls the Chinese President Xi a dictator. This just comes after the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, traveled to China to smooth things over. President Biden, uh, I don't know if you consider this a blunder or not, but he calls the Chinese president a dictator and may have undone any goodwill that was just done here. Yeah, take a listen here. Yeah, President Joe Biden's remarks calling Chinese leader Xi Jinping a dictator and China a country with real economic difficulties drew fast condemnation from China, cracking open a new rift just after the two countries agreed to tentative steps to stabilize the relationship. In Beijing, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning condemned Biden's usually pointed comments as extremely absurd and irresponsible. The clash of words comes after Secretary of State Anthony Blinken concluded a visit to Beijing on Monday that sought to break the ice in a relationship that has hit a historic low and honestly try to prevent a war, which a lot of people think is brewing. China's quick response to Biden, a president known for seemingly off script remarks that venture beyond his administration's policies, raised questions whether his remarks would undo the limited progress that had just been made in Blinken's carefully engineered trip or whether the two sides would just move on. Yeah. Yeah, so honestly this was not good timing for Biden. It almost seems like he took out the proverbial foot and just kind of inserted it into his mouth. Yeah, it's just it's not something I would have said, at least right after if we were trying to smooth things over with China. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it that China's kind of a frenemy, but what would be the point of sending over the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken? Like, why even do it if you're trying to send him over there to smooth things over, prevent a war? China, you're trying to prevent China from siding with the full blown enemy, Russia. I mean, we have we Russia, we're kind of at war with Russia, right? So you're trying to prevent China from full on siding with Russia, and we're also trying to prevent China from taking over Taiwan, which Biden has said we would put boots on the ground in Taiwan. So we're trying to prevent going to war with China almost on two fronts there. And then Biden says this. It's like, yeah, not very good. Literally puts his foot in his mouth. I mean, please let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I can't think of any other way to say it. And he literally says this like a day afterwards. It wasn't a good move at best. Okay, we're getting new information here that two IRS whistleblowers told Congress in closed door testimony just released that the Justice Department waged a cover up in the tax fraud investigation of first son Hunter Biden, revealing stunning details of alleged interference and new evidence indicating President Biden was involved in his son's foreign dealings. Now, again, we don't know all this. This is just what two IRS whistleblowers are saying, according to their testimony. Among the shocking details made public by the House Ways and Means Committee, the Hunter Biden probe was opened in November 2018, off the backs of investigation the IRS was conducting off a foreign-based amateur online, you can read this, platform. According to whistleblower Gary Shapley, the first son was given the code name Sportsman. Yeah. So, U.S. Attorney David Weiss sought to bring federal charges against Hunter, 53, in the Central District of California. Last year was denied both times by Biden-appointed U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada and Matthew Graves, respectively. The second whistleblower, who has remained anonymous, the investigation covered 2014 through 2019, which Hunter and his associates reportedly received approximately $17 million from Ukraine, Romania, and China, with the first son alone scooping $8.3 million. Investigators are pressing for felony charges against Hunter for ducking $2.2 million in tax payments rather than misdemeanors announced Tuesday as part of a probation-only plea deal. The other part of this is, could this lead to an impeachable offense tied to President Joe Biden as well? And this will take some time here to maybe put this together. Take a listen here.
And a majority of the same people say that Joe Biden was complicit and intimately involved, and those American people are right.
Professor Dershowitz, they had one hearsay whistleblower that ended up in the impeachment of Donald J. Trump over a phone call where basically he's asking President Zelensky to pledge that he would not be like his predecessors and be a responsible steward of the taxpayers' dollars that he was going to hand over. You tell me, Professor, you hear this? What do you hear?
Well, first, let's talk about if the evidence that has been produced so far against Joe Biden is true, and I don't know that it's true. I hope it's not true. I voted for him. But if it's true, if he was sitting there while his son said, basically send me the money or else there'll be consequences, that would be an impeachable offense. That would be the crime of bribery. What Congresswoman Bobart issued today are not impeachable offenses. And I hope you'll ask her that question. There's a little bit of hypocrisy there. She voted against the impeachment of Donald Trump on the ground that you needed to commit a crime or criminal type behavior. She accepted my argument. And now she's seeking the impeachment of Biden, not on these grounds, which are impeachable, but because of dereliction of duty and abuse of power, neither of which are in the Constitution. So please ask her to explain.
Well, I would argue he took a pledge to uphold the laws of our land and our Constitution, and by not enforcing our border laws and by picking and choosing which laws he'll enforce, that would be a violation of that pledge. No, Professor?
That's not a constitutional criteria for impeachment. It says treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
That wouldn't be a high crime or misdemeanor if you purposely don't enforce the laws that you were sworn to uphold?
That's what I argued successfully in front of the Senate, is not an impeachable offense. But the key point is it would be an impeachable offense if, in fact, Biden sat next to his son and heard him make that demand for money. Now, we don't know whether it's true. A, we don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard the tape. But B, I don't know whether Hunter Biden was telling the truth when he said he was sitting next to his father. But there is probable cause, and this has to be investigated. And thank God for our system of checks and balances, that we have a Congress that is not controlled by the party in power and can do the kind of investigation. And Biden can't plead his Fifth Amendment anymore because his lawyers have said that he's no longer subject to any criminal prosecution. So please go forward with these investigations.
Let me ask, Professor. We have these two new IRS whistleblowers, and then you have the whistleblower on the 1023 form that said that Joe is claiming, and by the way, this is a whistleblower deemed credible by the FBI as evidenced by the hundreds of thousands of dollars they paid this informant for past information. So that 1023, that is a direct charge of bribery of a president, that direct actions were taken as vice president by Joe Biden in exchange for family money. I wanted to get to the bottom of that.
Let's find out if that's true. That's hearsay at the moment. Let's have direct evidence. Let's listen to the tapes. But I'm here to tell you, as a legal expert on impeachment, that if that turns out to be true, that is an impeachable offense. But what Congresswoman Bobart today issued and tried to get.
If you want to debate her, I'll keep you for the next segment. But we got to. Okay. But I want to be clear here. You believe, do you believe, as we do, that there is now enough credible evidence showing that this FBI and this DOJ is favoring Joe Biden and the Biden family?
Yes, I do. And I think the Durham report confirms that. And I think that calls for a special commission to be appointed to look into the FBI and to see whether or not we're getting equal justice, a nonpartisan commission like the 9/11 Commission to examine these issues from top to bottom, because the American public does not trust the justice system today. That's a fact.
Yeah, so we have Hunter Biden, who's already going to plead guilty to a couple different charges here, which is, I'm shocked that he's not going to try to string it out for long term, but apparently they've got him, and he's not able to do that. So that's gonna be, it's quite a significant thing here in the headlines, and that's gonna probably we're gonna hear about that for years, Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here that you need to know about here on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below and then the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. Also, make sure to hit the like button for us and share these videos. You guys are awesome. Here is some videos you should watch next. Articles of impeachment were just announced against Biden. You can see the testimony in the House of Representatives here, and 99% of Americans were not expecting Biden and Putin to both say this. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.